Alright, good day everybody. If you're just joining me for the first time on my channel, my name is Shakirat Olokun, popularly called Olu Shakara. So if it's your first time of joining me, do well to use the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. Do that now so you won't forget. And remember to turn on the notification bell so that you can be the first person to get my video once I drop them. So last week we talked about helping children develop healthy self-esteem. So today we're going to be looking at the signs. How do you know if your children or your child has that healthy self-esteem or poor self-esteem? There are numerous reasons or numerous signs that you can see in a child with a poor self-esteem. One of them is this. Does your child have that confidence to express themselves freely? A child with a poor self-esteem will find it difficult to express themselves freely, even with their parents. And there are many reasons that could cause this. If your child is that child that finds it difficult or is too terrified to express himself or herself, the child might possibly be battling with self-esteem. It's poor self-esteem. And that thing is that a child with a poor self-esteem does not believe in his or her own ability. The child continuously compares himself or herself with other people. And most times children pick on this from what parents says, from what the parents say about them. You are the type of parent that continuously compare your child to other children. Don't you see your child? Don't you see your friend? Your friend is doing this, your friend is doing that. You might be unconsciously marring or crushing your child's self-esteem. I remember a time in my son's school, the parents came for the popular open day. The parents are expected to go through their children's notes and appreciate the teacher. There's this particular parent that was there that was continuously blaming and comparing the child. What's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of that? Don't you see this? Don't you see that? Of course, most parents don't know this, but I don't think doing that is the best approach. Is going to help the child. Just pointing out the mistakes of the child and not putting in measures or structures to assist the child will not solve the problem. So when we continuously compare our children to other people, it means you are not accepting that child. So if your child continuously think low of themselves, I told you I was once suffering from low self-esteem myself before, so I know what it means. You continuously don't believe in yourself. You don't think big of yourself because people around you have already limited your growth. They have limited your mindset to the fact that you can't be anything. Although they may not do it consciously, but from their words, you have come to absorb that, and you have believed that that's true. When people ask you where do you want to be in the next 5-10 years, you just bring out, you say things that are low. So parents too need to check on themselves. Like I said last week, that all this self-esteem is built in the home. There's nowhere else to build it. If your child is not getting it from the home, it might be difficult to get it elsewhere. So as parents, you have to be careful of the discipline approach that you use on your child. Is it actually building their self-esteem or is crushing it? So another thing that you have to look out, that you make you understand if your child have a low, poor self-esteem or healthy self-esteem, is that your child will not dwell so much on past negative experience. If you are the type of parent that once a child makes a mistake, you take it on and on by mentioning it to them every time. That's how you did this last time. That's how you did this last time. That's how you did this last time. It makes children not believe that they can change their behavior. So instead of dwelling on the past, just have a positive outlook towards life. Don't continuously or unconsciously tag your child or name your child or calling them to their mistakes of the past. The past should be in the past. It should only be recalled for us to be better. Maybe perhaps you want to tell your child, you remember last week you were telling me you cannot do this thing. Look at you now, you can do this. So watch out for those signs in your child. If your child is that child that's continuously dwell on their past because your child failed a particular exam, and the child is still saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. I told you, I shared one of my story on my Facebook page when my son was still very young, and I'll ask him to write. He will say, I cannot do it. I was like, no, this cannot happen again. Don't tell me you cannot do it. And when along the line will tell me, I cannot do it, auntie say I cannot do it. I was like, no, don't tell me that. That's your auntie saying that. It doesn't mean you cannot do it. You can do it. You just have to learn how to do it. So these are things you should watch out for in your child. Once a child continuously use the word I can't, I can't, I can't without making effort to learn how to, then your child might be on the verge of building a low or poor self-esteem. So another thing we should look at for signs of knowing if your child have a healthy or poor self-esteem is that the ability to say no. And this is learned from the home too, like I said earlier, that healthy self-esteem is built in the home. Can your child say no confidently to people? Is a child a people pleaser, just willing to please people just so they could fit in? These are things we should look out for. Your child should be able to say no, even to you as the parents. Can your child say no to you as a parent? These are things we should look out for. It doesn't mean because you are the parent, your child should always agree with you. Your child have every right to disagree with you on some issues, on some matters. You are saying, please, can you help me do this? Can you do that for me? Now, and your child says, Mommy, please, can you wait? Let me finish what I'm doing. I quickly want to run through this thing. As long as the child can give you a positive reason, I think your child should be able to say no. And it begins from you, from the home. How much you can say no to your child will pick onto that. And how much your child can say no to you back as a parent without you taking it personally. So your child should be able to say no. Another thing is that people or a child with low self-esteem will find it difficult to accept weakness. They don't tend to accept that this is their weakness. They don't know their strengths and their weakness. And this also bounces back on the parents. Like I said, I usually say, parenting is more about you, the parent, than it's about the child. So does your child knows their strengths and their weakness? Do you call their attention to their strengths? That I know you can speak. I know you love speaking. I know you love talking. Instead of you saying, don't talk. You talk too much. Can you try and channel that skill into something else? You have to think beyond those way of raising children. Just like the way they raised most of us were raised up. So those skills, those talents can be channeled into the right appropriate way. You just need to look for ways. One fundamental reason to know each other, another fundamental reason or signs to look out for in a child who is battling with low self-esteem, or a child who has healthy self-esteem, is that the child feels loved and accepted in the family. That's very, very important. Genuinely, naturally, everybody we are wired to feel to for connection. We all want to feel loved. This is something that God has created in every one of us. We want to feel loved and accepted for who we are. So once the child does not feel love, if your child love tank is not filled, or emotional tank is not filled, your child does not feel loved, the child might be battling with self-esteem. We end up battling with self-esteem. Like I usually say to people, some people will say, of course, I love my child. Loving your child is beyond just accept or just because you give birth to the child. It's deeper than we think. It means you accept your child in totality without trying to change the child for for one of your fantasies. Parents usually have fantasies, especially as mothers. You want our child to be this, you want our child to be that. But beyond that, can you accept your child in totality without naming the child, without shaming the child, without doing whatsoever you think when your child is not acting to your desires? So these are things which you look out as parents. Is your acceptance conditional? So I said in one of my videos that most times our acceptance as parents is usually conditional. We only accept our children when they do things that are pleasing to us. Once our children are trying to do things that are contrary to our desires, we express our anger. I know it's quite difficult, but is your acceptance conditional? A child who feels loved and accepted in the home will grow up with a positive and healthy self-esteem. Like I usually say, parenting is more about you than it's about the child. Make sure you are not damaging your child, all in the name of discipline. Please, healthy self-esteem is one of the best gifts you can give to your child. It is the feeling that I can do and become anything I want to become. So watch out for that, please. And do well to remember to subscribe to my channel if you have not done that. And also remember to turn on the notification bell so that you can be the first person to receive my video immediately I drop them. Thank you, and do have a lovely day. Bye. Be more than a parent. Be purposeful.